Most of them were
all
32 bars.
8 and 8, 16,
32 total.
and 16, so, and 8. It's 32 bars, yes. But he'd have, this is kind of technical now, he'd have, play the first 8 bars, then he'd have a little thing that says first ending. So then you go back and you play it over again, and you get to the second ending. Now, I have only used up one line. Now, and then you go past the second ending and you play to the middle part. That's what they call the bridge, because it's going to go from there back. So when you get to the end of the middle part of the song, it says a little mark, it says go back to the beginning. Boom. Then you go back to the first 8 bars, which is the same as the last 8 bars.
Play it for the third time.
And it goes, and say end. And it go down, and you jump to the coda. The point I'm getting is, instead of writing it on a big sheet, he had on half a piece of paper, like so. This would be it. He'd have it all written here. It goes, ring, 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 jump, boom, jump, back. It was very good.
It worked.
And it cut down the weight of the music we had
That's
to carry, too, because you only had half a sheet.
Oh, we had a big book. I remember those metal books that Emil had for our music? The metal things that contained the music?
Well, at first we used to, I don't know what the hell he carried them in, huh?
Well, we had metal ones, I remember, when we left the band.
I don't know. I forgot how they used to carry his music.
But we had a lot of music. Boy, I wrote a lot of arrangements. And
But this arranging was one of your fortes.
the only forte I had, because I wasn't much of a sideman. I wasn't much of a musician, but I wrote pretty good arrangements.
Well, I always wondered how you learned to play. You started on a banjo. How'd you learn to play banjo?
I had 8 lessons.
Now I know. That's enough. You don't have to explain anymore. Anybody that has 8 lessons in anything can't play it.
I had a real good ear, though.
Yeah, you had a good ear, and your fingers were strong.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, you could reach.
The only thing about me was strong was my fingers.
You could reach those chords and play them like that. And pick a.
That's right. That sounds a lot like it.
Yeah, it sounds better with a hearing aid. Then Vic advanced to playing guitar.
Well, they changed after radio come on. Why?
Yeah, you had a guitar, a Gibson.
Gibson guitar. That's right. Boy, you remember a lot.
4 strings. See, now I don't know how about you, but the 4 strings was the beginner. It was overgrown ukulele.
That's
like,
right. Yeah.
I don't know how you tuned it, but it was. I guess you tuned it like your banjo.
Toned like a banjo.
So you're playing a guitar. You're playing a banjo, only it's a guitar.
Yeah.
A different shape. You never did advance to the 6th string,
Yeah.
did you? You did?
Yeah. At O. Henry Park.
You
At
mean
O.
you
Henry
got
Park.
boom chung? You got 2 bass strings.
Yeah, that was an awful big neck to get your hand around after the other.
That's why you always were strong in your hands there. But you had you boom a ching, a boom a ching, boom ching.
Something like that.
That's why you did that, huh?
No, I just strummed right through. Strummed straight through.
Oh, you strum it.
Yeah.
So banjos.
Did they learn? They didn't teach you that in those 8 lessons, did they?
No, I had to pick that up myself.
He had a great ear. He could.
It's great. In size, too. This one the same way.
I remember visiting Vic once, and I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm practicing." He said he was in his dark room over in California, and he had one hand in the developing tray, and the other hand playing with the music on the thing.
Yeah, tape recordings going, and I'd play along with it.
You had your horn in the dark room and the radio going, and you were playing along with the radio.
Yeah. That was fun. Boy, I recorded an awful lot of music. Well,
huh?
I say I recorded reams of music during those years in that darkroom. We had about 4 radio stations in the LA area that played nothing but super music. A lot of it was dance music, but redone in the 60s in what am I trying to say? Stereo.
Oh.
In stereo instead of monaural
Right.
like they did when we were in the band. And so I recorded all this stuff in stereo. And I got 7-inch reels, probably 20 or 30 of those. It's just loaded both sides with all this great music. And I wish you could hear it, but you have trouble hearing music, don't you?
Pardon?
You have trouble hearing music.
Now?
Yeah.
I can't hear, I can't, everything sounds the same. It's very monotone.
My gosh.
Highs and lows, they don't mean anything. Like when I pick up my horn, I don't know what the heck I'm playing C, E, F, or G, and I can't notes. I try to find a note and I go from there, but you know, I cannot hear what's going around and around and coming out, you know.
That must have been a hard thing for you to get used to because you've always loved music so much.
Well, the worst thing to do is like go to a concert. I went down to Mesa when we first came back from California. Went back to Mesa for a concert. I got up and left at halftime. I mean, I could not understand what the hell was going on. It was it was a big band thing, and that's what it was. And my piano player, Lynn Noble, and his wife, and Alice and I went to the Gamage Theater or something on the ASU campus. And we got up and left. His wife didn't feel good, and I couldn't understand what the hell was going on. So
Well, did you
that was
have
the
your
last time.
Did you have your band at that time?
No.
That was after you
I
had
gave
your
up
band.
my band here
Before you went over to LA.
when I went to California in 1963. I have not had a band or been involved in music since. But when I left here, my hearing didn't go bad until 1980s. When I got retired, a year after I retired, I got my first hearing aid. I walked out in the street and the traffic I thought was going to run over me. The noise and loud was so bad. That's why he says, how about me taking you to lunch? You know what lunch to me is?
What?
A bedlam.
Oh, yeah. It is to
Boy,
me too.
lunch, dinner, anything. The only place I can eat and enjoy the quiet is right here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because there's no noise around here. The cats running up and down once in a while, but other.
Have you got a Kentucky Fried Chicken place around here?
I don't know. We don't do Kentucky Fried Chicken.
You don't.
No. I'm not talking about lunch. I'm just talking about
Well, I can see.
one place in Chicago I'll never forget. Henry C's Restaurant, a real first-class place. And you know what their advertising slogan was? No orchestral din.
Huh.
Because the Black Hawk Restaurant had music.
Yeah,
everybody, the hotels, all had. Nobody. You could go in there, it was as quiet as a mouse. You could eat and talk back. I can't talk to anybody when I go out
Me
for
too.
dinner.
Same trouble.
You have that problem?
You know, here's what bothers me. And this is when there's just four people in a restaurant. I can usually hear what's going on because I can turn these things up. And if there's just 4 of us. But give us 6, for example, around the table where there's some distance between. And somebody talks, and the din of waiters and dishes and music in the background and conversation all over the place. It's just a din, as Walt has said. I can't understand what they're saying, and
You
so So anyhow, quite often I assume that somebody says something, and I have to guess what they're saying. So I smile and I say, yeah, how nice. And she might have been saying, geez, I just lost my mother to cancer, you know. How nice. I never know. And it's horrible. It's
If
really
you nod
horrible.
your head, you're wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yes.
So it's no fun.
But that's one reason I did, you know, the grandkids, they're always involved in something. You know. Hey, well, come over and get you. We'll take you out. I said, I don't want to go. You know, I don't think they know why, but that's it.
Why don't you tell them?
They all come over here, they sit around, and I sit like a lump,
Yeah.
you know, because I don't know what he's saying to him, and they're going over this way.
That's right.
And, you know, when they all settle down, I'll lean over to one of the kids, I'll say, what's the subject? What are we talking about?
Well, birds of a feather.
Huh?
You and I, birds of a feather. We're alike. We're birds of a feather.
Yes.
Have trouble hearing. We should put on an act for Ryan and the camera there. See,
Pardon me?
we should put on an act for
Right.
you talk to me and I say, what do you say? And then you speak up and then I turn you around and say, didn't you hear me yet? Yeah,
You're right.
yeah, that's right. We're going to have to do this one of these days.
What do you remember about Vic's family particularly? Because I know you're related.
Vic's family?
Yeah.
Frank, what about Frank? What do you remember about Frank, my brother?
Frank, it was Bill and I and Vic and Frank. The four of us would get together maybe once or twice a year. Because they lived in Iowa and we lived in Illinois. Iowa's in another country. See? And you had to take the streetcar to get over to our house or whatever, cross the bridge. But Frank, he was a fun guy. I like Frank.
Yeah.
He was he got married about the same time I did, I think, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah. Married Marion.
I see Frank when he would come to the dances with his mother to see how the eight lesson guitar player was doing and hear the band like all the other parents would do. But I never saw much of Frank after that.
No, it was true. We didn't get together
I
too often.
I left Rock Island. That's across the river from Davenport.
You said that before.
I said that before. Well, that's where it is.
Davenport is in another country. Yeah.
Rock Island is on the good side of the Mississippi River, see. But what the hell was I talking about?
I don't know. I haven't been listening. I can't hear you. If you talk, you're going to have to speak up. I can't hear you.
You were talking about when the families would get together, and it was probably difficult for the families to get together because it was across the river.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, myself, I came back from Chicago in 1941, and I don't think I saw Frank at all then. And in 47, we moved here to Phoenix, and that eliminated the whole damn bunch back there in that Iowa bunch. And then I don't think I have seen Frank no, I can't remember when I saw him last.
Yeah, we didn't get together
I got
too often.
a couple of pictures of you on 23rd Street in Rock Island. That was the Rock Island again, and that muddy street with you and Bill and Frank.
Can you
and I.
remember that?
Huh?
Can you remember? Well, now wait a minute.
23rd Street.
When I was 6 years old, my mother went to Rochester, Minnesota,
Yes,
to the Mayo Clinic to have a goiter removed.
that's true. I remember
And
that.
she was gone for a few weeks, and I stayed at your house. I lived with you during that period. But you were too young to remember that, I think. You must have only been 3 years old.
You were 6 years.
6.
6 years old.
How old are you now?
Well, I was only 2.
Yeah, we were 2.
I had a good memory though. I remember you were from Davenport,
Across the river.
across the river, on the Iowa side.
The bad part.
The bad part, out of country. You came over and stayed at our house. I remember that. I remember.
Yeah, I stayed several.
I don't know where the hell you slept
I
because the
don't-
house was kind of small.
The things I remember about that summer staying with you is that every morning your mother, which was Aunt Jenny, made oatmeal for breakfast.
That's true.
Is that true? And the other thing I remember is one day,
Oatmeal was the staff of life.
yeah,
Everybody ate oatmeal. My dad ate oatmeal when he was living here in Phoenix.
no
We
kidding.
had brought him out here after
Yeah.
Mother died. But he was hooked on oatmeal, you know.
But anyhow,
I think it was better than that new drug they got out called Vigoro, or whatever the hell it
Viagra.
is. Huh?
Viagra.
Viagra.
How do you pronounce it?
I guess
See, he knows all
Viagra.
about it. See, he knows how to pronounce it and everything else. Did you notice that?
He's going to go get some.
Well, at his age, he better start.
But oatmeal was an aphrodisiac, I think.
Yeah, well, that's, oh,
You know,
was
because
it?
all the farmers would eat oatmeal. You know.
And they'd have a lot of kids.
Huh?
Yeah.
And then they'd have a lot of kids.
But anyhow, I remember, let's see, 18th, what was the avenue that run along there?
18th Avenue.
18th Avenue. Anyhow, Bill, your brother, and I, during this time I stayed over there, had walked up to 18th Avenue.
Yes.
He's a little older than me, a year older than me. And anyhow, we had a hold of some crab apples somewhere.
That's true.
And we started to throw crab apples at the cars as they came up, you know, just a couple of kids. And one hit a car on the windshield. And he turned over to the corner and stopped, and it scared the wits out of us. You hear me?
Yes.
And so we started heading for home. And this guy turns around and follows us. And we're running down the street back to home as fast as we can. Here comes this car following us. Finally, we get to your house, and your dad is sitting on the front porch. And so this guy tells about us throwing these apples. And he says, I thought you ought to know what's going on up there. And so Uncle Glad pacified him. He says, well, I'll take care of this. And so the guy left. So we got a raking down from your pop about throwing those apples at the automobiles. So we didn't do that anymore.
Well, the thing I remember not about that, but I remember about 18th Avenue and the automobiles. We used to go up there for various reasons, but it would be like we would stand and wait, and we'd look down 18th Avenue and say, "Here comes a car!" You know, one car every 20 minutes would go by.
Boy,
this
that's
was 1920s.
Yeah. You know, I'll tell you.
And a car would go by, and you know, if you're standing out there throwing crab apples, you can't hardly miss them because they only go about 10 miles an hour. I can sympathize with your story, boy. It was because crab apples. There was a whole big tree of them up
Yeah,
there.
that's right. Yeah. You know the amazing thing about memory.
I just have them on my paper route.
Yeah.
That's where I remember them from. But those cars on 18th Avenue were few and far between, boy.
Yeah. You know the strange.
23rd Street was dirt.
Yeah. You know, I'll tell you something that's a strange thing about memory. We forget a lot, both of us, because of our age. But I'm gonna tell Walt something he won't believe. I remember not only your address in Rock Island, but your telephone number. You were 1712 28th Street,
Right.
and your telephone number is 4786. Don't tell me
Can you
it isn't.
believe that? 4786?
That's all.
Telephone number?
Yeah,
His phone
You,
number.
you have to dial 1 or 800 or nothing.
you didn't dial, you got an operator.
Oh, you, that's right.
Yeah.
You'd say, hi. Say, hi, Mr. Anthony. They knew who you was they were talking to.
Yeah,
I don't remember the phone number.
well,
I can't remember what my phone number is now. It's so long, 1-800-602-47,
yeah,
3850629. Something.
it's like a social security number.
The phone, okay? I pick up the phone and I can talk on the phone a little bit. But they sell you everything,
Yeah,
So when I pick up the phone, I say, to whom am I speaking? And immediately there's a big long silence. I'll say, hello? And they'll say, Mr. Anthony, like that, see? I say, I don't need it. Boom. I can't understand what the hell
No.
they talk so
you
fast.
haven't lost a thing.